So it's September 2013, and I have been in Singapore, being a visiting professor at the National University of Singapore. And in this one-slide lecture, I want to talk about these Orchard Road malls on a very nice commercial strip in Singapore. And as this slide says, Wikipedia tells us that this is a major tourist attraction. And it's not only tourists. I was there today, and I want to share a couple of observations related to climate adaptation and the role that cities and successful cities play in how people can continue to have a very good life even under somewhat tough climate conditions. So Singapore is often hot and humid. What I saw today on Orchard Road was thousands of people inside at the mall basically substituting, spending their leisure time exercising while walking and shopping and taking leisure within this mall. And these folks looked like they were having fun. And of course, the unnatural conditions, the air conditioning in the mall leads to a separation between outdoor temperature and comfort inside. Environmentalists will quickly say, well, of course these individuals are comfortable because of air conditioning, but how much greenhouse gas emissions are produced as a byproduct? As I have read, Singapore's electricity comes from natural gas, and that is still a fossil fuel, but it creates roughly half the carbon emissions of coal. And so it's certainly true that an unintended consequence of nicely cooled malls is more greenhouse gas emissions. But if you actually look at Singapore's emissions per dollar of GDP, it's actually much lower than the United States. And the United States' emissions carbon intensity is lower than China's. So to Singapore's credit, while it is a very successful nation, yes, it engages in oil refining, but this city-state actually has a very low carbon footprint. And so this is a successful city that has come up with a strategy, indoor shopping and activity at malls, that is one example of how you adapt to heat conditions. And of course, if more of Singapore's electricity could be generated with renewables, for example, Malaysia's nearby and has ample land, if Malaysia could do wind or solar on some of its land, and if there was transmission capability back to Singapore, you could decouple this fun and leisure at Singapore's malls from carbon production. And so this is an example of how a city-state that seeks to be green simultaneously adapts to its climate conditions while having a minimal carbon impact. And this is a lesson for the rest of the world, which might, according to climate models, get hotter and start to look more like Singapore in their hotter future. But Singapore, despite the heat, continues to thrive. And so for pessimists out there, they've got some explaining to do, and they should come visit me in Singapore.